Hey folks, how's it going? My name is RedMaster and welcome back to an episode of Cards and Castles TV commentary. We've got some matches lined up for you today, as always, on this lovely Sunday, I believe. Well, Sunday's when I'm recording this. I don't remember when I pulled these matches, though. I do not remember where I pulled the matches from, like, time-wise. But, you know, that's okay, too. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and head up match number 1 and see what the players have for us. All right, and game number 1 is underway. Starting off with Pudgepickle taking on Van Zaloko, a yellow-red versus a blue-green matchup. I feel like that's one that we've seen quite a bit, but we will see how this one fares off. Of course, both players very skilled, have been pretty seasoned, and we'll see what both bring to the table here. We see Rat Hobble from Pudge, Van going with the Last Will. Seems like Sunflower Lumberjack are two. Well, obviously great cards for Last Will. Lumberjack more so just a generically good card, period. But we'll see. Sunflower moves ever so closer. Metal into none. Okay, so definitely going to confirm the Last Will status of this deck here. You don't really see none unless there is that dedicated Last Will support. We will see the Shaman and the Rat kind of move forward here to intercept these, although the Sunflower has gotten in fairly close. Planting itself right on the castle there means it will explode for 3 on the castle. And of course, None going to go ahead and try to move around here to try and see if she can outmaneuver that Shaman. Temple of the Five Gods coming down, though, will mean that the Nunchuck Nun will perish here. Nice observation, though, killing the Sunflower before killing the Nun, so that way the Sunflower doesn't get the extra boost to actually survive past the Rat Temple combo there. Still left, though, with a Dark Bender here. 5/6, going to be a bit of an issue to the board here. Green-blue does not have the burn of Warlocks, but it does have hard removal, so wonder if there's something like an execution somewhere in this deck. Salahar Rider, Courthouse going to be the play here from Van in the meantime. Meanwhile, Pudge setting up another Temple of the Five Gods. Gotta wonder if there's some kind of mystic rat going on here. Feels like it. Blue Fire to take out the Hovel. Nicely done there. Tarius File setting up 2 to protect the Rider just a little bit here. We'll see if Pudge pops out on his own. He is going to go ahead and pop the Rider, though, and that does end up killing the Tarius Files, actually, because, yeah, we do have the 2 temples. I mean, we do 2 chain damage, and of course, kill off for draw. Swords and Go coming out from Pudge. Not bad. Going to go ahead and get feared away, though, for some, again, additional cycle for Van. Paladin coming out. Okay. You don't usually Paladin in Last Will, but sure, I guess it's a fair body. Meanwhile, a second Sword is going to go ahead and emerge to kind of protect here. A lot of defense from Pudge, it feels like, in this game. We'll see the Sacred Quest onto the Dark Bender. Nice way to get a bit of extra draw there. Disintegrate, burning off the Swordsman, clearing a path for Paladin, taking another 4 out of the castle. Again, very nicely done here. Doing some great work in clearing out these defenses from Pudge's side here. I don't really know if he's got a way, though, to bounce back. We could perhaps do a Winds of the Nord play. Winds of the Nord to kind of bring in the Dark Bender closer to actually cleave and kill off both of them would be really nice. But unfortunately, the Paladin would actually live through the chain lightning, as you're about to see here. If I just play a little bit further, yep, the Resolve actually intercepts that last bit of damage there and keeps it alive. So I imagine that Pudge did not want to keep that Paladin alive and is opting to kind of get rid of that over the Dark Bender. It feels weird, though. I mean, I think you could take out the Dark Bender. It is a draw engine. It is a ranged unit. It can do more damage than the Paladin, but I understand the concern was probably somewhat like a Luminaris coming out here and dealing some insane damage, especially because we have that Shield Runner up top, too. It feels like we might have a Lumi hidden in Van's hands somewhere, so his obvious thought was, hey, let's get rid of the Paladin. So Yarm Giant plus Swordsman clears out the Paladin while keeping both alive, but just barely. Van, though, dropping a Firestorm. Nicely done to clear off both remaining units here. The Darkbender could actually proceed forward and take a bit more of a chunk out from Pudge, but opting to not, using it for a final blow, perhaps. Onslaught's a great pickup, though, from Pudge. It's going to be able to damage the Darkbender just a bit further and also lead to its eventual demise. No units, though, except for the Yarm Giant in hand, which is a bit of an unfortunate case here for Pudge. He really can't do a whole lot to defend against this. Looks like the Berserker coming in, knocking out the armory here. The Darkbender not opting to move up yet. Instead, going to go ahead and receive a bit of an extra fortify to help out. Lich going to go ahead and freeze off the Darkbender cracks. That's nicely done here for the Lich to kind of get some chain value with the Winds of the Nord play. Reanimate as well, going to be a great way to clean up that remaining shield runner. That's been sitting in our hand for, I think, a while now. So good that we can finally get some use out of that and make way for some nice little freeze stuff happening here as well. The Darkbender and the Wraith doing some funny fear things, maybe. But of course, now Wraith losing all that attack power thanks to pacifism. Armory, though, still in the hand, does allow the Wraith to get a bit more damage. We'll go ahead, push the Darkbender down. Not exactly the way we wanted that to go, but, you know, it's the way of the fear. Darkbender's path was intercepted, so of course it's ending up having to go down instead. Kraxus are going to go ahead and chip away the Temple of the Five Gods here for some additional draw. Darkbender hitting the Wraith as well. The Nunchuck Nun going to be a great way for a Last Will trigger to pop off here off the Arcanine General. And Dragon's Fire a bit excessive to remove the Wraith, but probably the only thing that we had in hand, feels like. And yeah, things not looking good for Pudge here. He's got a big Kraxus on face, has to remove that first and foremost. Mordok coming out, going to be able to deal with it effectively. Horseman not landing on the right spot. Would have liked that damage to be on the Kraxus and then thereby kill the Darkbender. But unfortunately, he misses the damage, and with that, actually surrenders. Which, you can kind of see why. He was not in a very great game state here, and if Van at that point pulled out an Arbiter at any point, the game would have been over. So, a very tough matchup for Pudge. Again, a lot of defensive stuff. I'm never really kind of able to push forward. But on the other hand, great plays from Van, keeping up the aggression, finding nice ways to kind of promote more cycle in the deck with Atari's Files in the Chain Lightning. The Sacred Quest on a Darkbender, as much as I don't think Sacred Quest goes in a lot of decks, people do end up surprising me, making use out of it. And getting the best out of it, like we saw in this matchup. So overall, very good start to our video for today. But let's go ahead and move on into game number 2 and see what that match has in store for us. All right, and game number 2 now underway. We've got Tank taking on DemonJo. Now, of course, another blue-green matchup here, so we'll see if those colors can get a redemption. But on the other side, Ninja Crusader, which is something that we don't, again, often see. Those colors, I feel like, have a very hard time pairing up together and making something that's meta-contendable, or meta-viable, if you will. The closest thing that I think we've seen is some First Strike stuff, and while it is effective, it has, of course, fallen by the wayside, and it really doesn't feel like they've been able to do much to assert themselves as a dominant color combination in quite some time. So we'll see if Joe's got something for us. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and get right on into the game. Okay, well, there is Joe rocking a Ronin, so there is some First Strike in my mind that feels like is going to be shown off here. Meanwhile, we're going to open up on Tank side with the coined Ship of the Damned. Now, interesting. I'm not sure why we're using the coin that early, especially for something like Ship of the Damned, but sure. Okay. We'll go ahead and hit into the Salahar Rider, dealing 2 to Castle. Not a big deal to start. Joe's going to respond with the Faithful Drake, which is going to be a nice way to block off this poor Skeletal Pirate here. Pops right into the Skeletal Pirate, though, or pops into the Faithful Drake, excuse me, does the Skeletal Pirate, sacking himself off for very little value. This, of course, is going to lead the Salahar Rider dying to the Faithful Drake, dealing 2 to the Castle, establishing Courthouse in the back will Joe. Not bad, not bad. The Assassin now coming out here. Sir. We're having a math moment right now. The 2 is less than the 3, which means you can actually trade into the Faithful Drake and keep your assassin alive still. That's okay. I don't know why we didn't attack here. It's very easy clear in that case, and of course with yellow purple having no direct damage in spells whatsoever, it feels like a pretty safe play to just hit into the Faithful Drake. We do have the Horseman in hand, so maybe we're gonna see that or Ronin from DemonJo. I would like to see maybe the Horseman and just snipe off the assassin would be the funniest thing. Oh, going for it. Jesus. Yeah, and that's why you make trades when you can. Even if you have the assassin ability still alive, now you have to find another way to deal with the 2-1 Faithful Drake. It's going to keep chipping away for more and more damage. It's not great, but okay. Let's go ahead and keep on going here. We got the Rune Warrior coming out, stepping out of his big old boundaries here. We'll see him, again, not interact with any part of this board whatsoever. Horseman and Faithful continue to chip away at the castle. You know, it's a feels good moment. Oh, okay. So we have Cloak of Ice here, and that's probably going to be the reason why we held Rune Warrior away, to make sure we had a body for it. We do have the Faithful Drake, so... But okay, sure. Panda's going to clean that up, counteracting the Cloak of Ice here by bouncing back the Rune Warrior and forcing the Cloak to disappear. Again, not great for tank here, but looks like he has another one. Okay, he's got another one, so that's good. Again, more stall. Makes sense when you're going up against the Vikings here. Ooh. Shadow Slip coming out now, doing some nice work here. Again, the Panda's going to reset the Rune Warrior, killing off another Cloak of Ice here. And we have actually enough gold to regenerate the Ronin, if you will. So that can now be a nuisance next turn. The Rune Warrior can come out, but it won't be able to block that Ronin. Execution, though, takes off the Ronin. That could be a pretty effective call right there. Too bad we have another one in the hand. Just drawn, of course, foiled too. Nice and shiny. Now Demon, of course, going to go ahead and establish the Masuda as well for some additional, maybe unit pushing, I want to say. I mean, he's going to have a lot of units in hand, and at this point, he might be able to overwhelm Tank, but Tank does also have freeze, chain, so he's got to be careful about it. Ronin's going to go ahead and chip away into the castle here, since nothing can actually survive a Ronin clash. Flash grenade on the Ronin can kill off the Rune Warrior. Oh, boy. And now... that's something. Rider going to go ahead, chip away at the Rider. Rider dealing damage to the courthouse. Dagger Storm coming out. The second Faithful Drake here. Oh, nice cleanup here. Getting 2 on the Panda. It does remove it. Very nice, very nice. Unfortunately, we don't have any sort of armory or blacksmith to make the Drake connect with each other, or trade with each other, I should say. Ronin going to go ahead and do the job himself here, leaving the second Faithful Drake to defend. Ludicrous Strength on that second Drake, though, will, of course, allow it to kill off the Ronin, and again, provide a bit of a block, but... the courthouse taking away the bit of extra life here. Drake gonna move in, connect with each other, and of course Swordsling leaving the 4-drop. And pretty much nothing short of execution cleans up this game, but even then, Rider, Frogman's coming out, both of them can deal lethal. It's gonna be a done deal here. I don't see Tank getting out of this. Southward Cannoneer, sure, but that is going to be all she wrote. Oh, another rough one for blue-green players, for sure. But damn, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that it felt like the blue-green could again. Well, in this case, there were a lot of, I think, just questionable plays. The stalling for cloaks, the assassin not trading, mistakes like that, when they pile up, they can pretty much easily show where a match is going in the higher levels. So yeah, to see all of those kind of compound into what was essentially the rest of the match, it was tough. It was tough. But congrats to Joe for winning, showing off some purple yellow swag in this episode for sure. And yeah, I guess with that, we've got more matches to go through. So what's gonna be in match number 3? Let's go ahead and find that out right now. All right, and game number 3 now underway. We're gonna see Feeble here taking on RabbitRun, a bit of a blue-red versus purple-green matchup. Again, interesting colors here, so we'll see what we bring to the table. Looks like potentially freeze out of Feeble's side. The Winds of the IC plus the double lich here, very much using a lot of freeze support. So maybe something with, well, maybe lightning setup too. A fear chain, maybe, who knows. We'll see Rabbit rock the bridge troll turn 2, though, after a successful lumber trade went down. We have the warrior, though, from Feeble to connect with it. Yeah, probably it's definitely some kind of fear chain, freeze chain deck going on here, it looks like. Trying to keep everything frozen together from the enemy to unleash a big, powerful bolt of lightning that kind of clears the board. So we'll see if Feeble's able to kind of pull that off here. In the meantime, Rabbit's going to go ahead and start ramping here with the captain. The onslaught will, of course, neutralize the Darkbender, or at least put it on a clock. And the Vanishing Strike coming in as well. Nice chunk of damage being dealt. And, of course, the captain coming back into the hand allows us to reuse that ramp for hopefully more greater effects. In the meantime, Darkbender will readjust. The Flux will come out as well, and we'll pass back to Rabbit. Rabbit simply looks like he's going to Throne and Hassan City Guard here. That seems fine. Now we pretty much confirmed that Rabbit on that bounce strategy, so hopefully he can keep one of these guards alive to use for, you know, said bounce to generate more. Looks like we probably will here, as the Flux is going to go ahead and be a bit of a nuisance. Not enough to kill, though, with the guard. And now, okay, Armory coming out here. 2-2, make the guards going to be able to trade with the Flux, or we're going to see the Bridge Troll come out and do some damage. Getting rid of the Flux there, the Warrior will come out and make a connection there. The Thunderstrike will, however, unfortunately remove the Bridge Troll as well, so a bit of a 2-for-2 even trade on amongst the board, but hey, it's still fine. We do protect our more valuable assets. Frozen Giant comes out now to freeze nothing. Darkbender takes a free shot for some extra damage. We do know that we're going to lose that Darkbender anyway, thanks to the bleed effect, so might as well take the shot while we have the opportunity. Into the Shaman Southport combo from Rabbit, so again, looking for more resources, hopefully getting some more ramp value off of this Southport as well. Cloak of Ice and Blue Fire are going to try and stall the game a bit in Feeble's favor, though. Cloak of Ice going to freeze both Shaman and Captain. All right, Kunoichi's going to come out now. Into the Shadow Slips, and then we're going to generate all of that Throne buffing. Yep, we'll see 4-6 Shaman. Probably get something else to clean up the Frost Giant. Looks like the Southport Cat's going to be the one to do so. Nice little 4-5 removing. And also keeping all the other units alive, too, which is very nice. We get to kind of keep everything and push them forward, force people to respond to them. And he is running out of options here. We're seeing a lot of just straight unit draws, not necessarily, or not straight building or spell draws, and not necessarily more units that at least that he can use now. He'll be able to play Yarm next turn, which might be fun, but we'll see. Karasume being lined up, the Shaman coming out as well. The Karasume in a great spot for some Yarm chain. That could be very, very gross here. We'll see Yarm walk up, hit the Kunoichi, and knock back both it and the Shaman to create this sort of chain damage stuff, which will, of course, lead the Karasume to be wiped out before it can do anything substantial. Battlecry as well coming out here. I imagine this might be just to get it out of the hand, even though we're nowhere near the hand limit now. Still might feel just awkward holding it and figure that he doesn't want to take the extra 4 from the captain. Mordok coming out now to clean up the Yarm Giant. Unfortunately for Feeble, Wraith is the spawn here, so that's going to stick around a lot longer than a Banshee or a Horseman would. I think in that case, he would have loved to see a Banshee from his opponent, but yeah, not in the cards. Lich's going to come out here, freeze everything, wins the Icy, coming out to freeze the last unit and actually have it being killed off with a Lich as well, which is not too bad. But now here we're going to see a Mordok from Rabbit's side. We're going to have to probably play this Mordok from Feeble because it's the only other unit we have. Yeah, it's going to go ahead and connect with the Wraith here. The Banshee is the spawn. Unfortunately, the Banshee will trade off here. Pulling a defective Flame Cannon, which we do use on the Mordok. Now, granted, this is going to help us more evenly trade with our Lich, so it's not a total loss, but still not a great position either. As we do see the Mordok die off, and of course, the second Mordok does die as well. The Horseman pull there with the 3 damage is a bit brutal, but it did happen. Into the Were-Rat in Swordsman, looks like we are trying to really make a big push for the end of game here. Blue Firebolt. Okay, we might be able to use that here. Lumberjack would have to be the go-to trade, though, for the Horseman. We'll pick up the Dragon's Fire. Dragon's Fire actually a very nice kind of card here to pop the Swordsman as well as the Were-Rat. Now we just have to worry about dealing with the Shaman, which we can do next turn. We are in Sudden Death, though, and Sudden Death is a very scary place, unfortunately. We can't afford to take that many hits. We'll take another 2 from the Shaman here. This might potentially be game. We'll see. We'll see if he can pull anything to save himself here. Rat King gonna go ahead and come on out now from Rabbit. Won't be able to bounce them, but that's fine. Oh, Temple and Wizard are going to be the cards that come out here. And yeah, that's a GG. A surrender from Feeble. In that moment, I think he knew that he couldn't defend against the Shaman, or at least kill it. And with no ability to kill any unit, he probably could have stalled to give himself an extra turn, but still, I don't think it would have mattered. Rabbit would have probably known what targets to hit, what to keep off the board, and if your opponent knows that, then that is the end of the game. So overall, very nicely done, excuse me, to Rabbit for pulling off that W with the bounce deck. Very strong, very nice. Love seeing that throne get some value again. Always a pleasure to see. And yeah, I guess the freeze deck did not have it in it this time around, which is unfortunate, but again, it does happen. So with that being said, folks, that's going to do it for our video today. Let's go ahead and move to close out this video properly. All right. And with that being said, folks, another episode of TV Commentary comes to a close. If you guys did enjoy this episode, be sure to let me know your thoughts on how all of our competitors did. By leaving your thoughts down in the comment section below. And be sure, if you're down there, if you haven't done so already, be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you're new or haven't done so already. It is something you can support the channel after all and help us grow here on YouTube. Holy moly, I feel a bit rusty with that outro, but it is what it is. So, until next time, guys. Stay gaming.